per request, let's go ahead and take a look at ticker symbol NVOS. Okay, so guys, please go ahead and notice that this is the chart that we've been looking at from the live sessions. Okay, so let's go ahead and validate or confirm or see the potentials or probabilities, whatever you want to call it, for the following sessions, right, you guys? What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with an NVOS technicals and raw price action threat of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so yes, we're looking at NVOS on the daily chart here. If you are curious, I definitely brought up this this chart so that you can remember what we were looking at in the live sessions, right? So now that you know what we have here, yes, we came right back up to our resistance touch that we were looking at from this point here, right? So we touched on it almost perfectly, and we still kept it in play for future play. Okay, so very, very interesting touches there. But I do have some adjustments to the chart, and I have gone ahead and started a new edit to this to show you what we're actually looking like at the present moment. Okay, so go ahead and look at this following chart. Okay, so yes, we are looking at the buy daily chart right now, and what you are looking at here is a broadening descending wedge, which is absolutely a bullish statement coming out of the NVOS asset. And this formation itself does present the potential of a reversal in price action entirely, okay? And the way that can happen is usually following a set of rules that are particular to this formation, okay? So first of all, the golden rule of three. We have 3 tests of the resistance followed by a capitulation, followed by a test of number 4, and then a potential breakout at 4 or 5. Okay, so you can see right here test number 1. Now, I don't like to consider these tests because the candle opened. This was actually a gap up. So the candle opened at 28.17 and then came back down. So this wasn't actually a test to the upside and back down. Okay, so yes, we're looking at test number 1 here. This is test number 2 here. Bunch of fake outs right here, right? We have test number 3. The candle opened here. Okay, so this actually came it opened here, went up a little bit, then faked out and came all the way back down. So this is test number 3, capitulation, just like we talked about, right? We reclaim the channel, retest the bottom side of the wedge, right? And then we retest the bottom side of the wedge before a continuation onto the upside. We get test number 4 and fake out. Okay, so now test number 5 is knocking at the door presently. What I want you to notice is that we have the SMA 10 below us serving as a very good area of support. Okay, so this is very good for the asset. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just see what the potentials are. Okay, so if we do have an upside continuation bias, then very likely we can come up to the area of about, I'd say 17.99, almost 18 cents at the SMA 50. We can get a little closer as well by opening up our moving averages. Okay, and I'm talking about the moving averages particular to the 30-day and let's see. Yeah, okay, so the 30-day exponential moving average is landing very similarly to the SMA 50. Okay, so that I was just going to point that out. Okay, and we're facing resistance right now from the 20-day exponential moving average. So all good in the hood. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart and get that bias for the upside. Okay, is that even a possibility? So let's see. So this is going to be the divergence chart, or divergence chart, right? So divergence is the opposition of price action versus momentum, and you're looking at momentum down here represented by this indicator RSI, relative strength index. Okay, and this is suggesting an upside continuation. First of all, on the 12-hour time frame, very credible that we crossed above the 14-day simple moving average represented by this pink line. Your purple line is the RSI signal itself. Okay, so the reason why I have 2 sets of colors here is to identify, first of all, if it respected the divergences in the first place. Okay, so these blue lines represent drives of hidden bearish divergence, okay, which usually happens when momentum is making a series of higher highs and we're making a series of higher lows. Okay, so that's usually what happens. Here it is right here, right? So this is momentum here, and this is the price action, and this is the divergence chart. Okay, so I wanted to see if we respected the downside. Of course, we got those drives of bearish divergence, and then we got that downside, right? So now if you can take a look at the amount of drives we have printed for bullish divergence, and this, what you're looking at here, are drives of regular bullish divergence, which is right over here. And we have several of them, okay? And they have now essentially fired and confirmed to the upside, okay? So very good. Very good for the asset. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up a multi-pane and look at the RSI just like we always do from the immediate short-term time frame stance. Okay, so go ahead and notice here that the 30-minute immediate short-term is suggesting a continuation to the upside even immediately. We do have the gravitational zone located right in here from the bull strength percentile, and this is approaching it. The RSI signal is approaching that gravitational zone, suggesting a push and a continuation to the upside even still. Okay, go ahead and notice here that the 4-hour time frame is suggesting an upside continuation as well. It is approaching that gravitational zone, so very bullish. Now, the 12-hour time frame, just like we mentioned, crossing above that 14-day simple and an upside continuation, right? So, same situation here with the 8-hour. Okay, so. And now looking at the daily time frame, please notice that we are actually in the process of creating or converting the 14-day simple moving average as a form of support. Okay, so this is very bullish from the asset as well. Okay, so now let's move on to the upper time frames and look at what the probabilities are. By daily time frame came back down to precisely the 14-day simple moving average, found the support from not only the 14-day simple moving average, but also from the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. Okay, so right in here, we found that support, bounced to the upside, continuing on onwards and upwards, right? So now notice that the 3-day time frame also has an upside bias. It is approaching that gravitational zone, very likely to continue on to the upside. And if the 5-day is, I'm sorry, this is still the 3-day here. But if the 3-day is looking a little bit not as strong as, you know, the shorter time frames, then 5-day could very well be consolidating. Let's see. And it very much is. Okay, so consolidation, why? Because it's bouncing from the gravitational zones right in these areas here. Okay, 2% up, 2% down. So you're looking at gravitational touch. So it's still consolidating, which is telling me, just like it is on other assets, that the upper time frames are a little dependent, or they're waiting for the influence from the shorter time frames in order to validate a continuation to that upside. Okay, so if we are curious to look at what volatility versus momentum are saying, then we can go ahead and just take a look at that now. In fact, we have it already loaded in this chart here. Notice that the 12-hour, or the daily volatility versus momentum is looking absolutely primed for a continuation to the upside. Okay, so notice that we're starting to get that upside pivot here from stochastic momentum, and volatility is currently sitting at max volatility here. This is critical expansion, okay, which is usually found within the 90 percentile. Okay, so very bullish from the asset there. Let's look at the bi-daily volatility versus momentum profile. Okay, so it looks like we still have a little bit of downside continuation, but when this happens, there could be, like I said in the RSI, the upper time frames are probably waiting for the shorter time frames to influence. So let's look at the 12-hour instead and down. Okay, so 12-hour already creating that signal that we're looking for on the daily. Okay, we started that contraction phase to the downside, which means that we're essentially now mean reverting. Okay, so if we are gonna suggest a mean reversion now, well, let's go ahead and pull up my code, which is the ARC reversion variant, and you can see that we are just a little bit away from that reversion, from the mean. Okay, the mean band itself is at 15 cents. We're sitting at about 14 cents right now. Very likely to be right at here at the 50 percentile when we do mean revert to that 15-cent zone. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm looking at here. And we are critically expanded just like it is here, and this is the expansion that you're looking at, right? So it's opened up. Critical contraction down here would be when we're very closed. So you can see that my algo is actually following that trend very well. Okay, so yes, the mean appears to be at 15 cents, which is just at the resistance touches that we were looking at here in the first place anyway. So very curious price action here. If we're able to see the potentials for the coming days, then yes, I can already see that potential could very well be at that 15-cent level for the next day or two. Okay, so now we can go ahead and pull up our substance. My other code. This is the ARC substance, and what substance does is actually gives us the relevant in an active manner, so real-time reading of the from the 30-minute support and resistance all the way up to the monthly support and resistance levels. Okay, so very likely we can touch down to the first area of the weekly resistance located at about 1587, already rhyming with that 15-cent zone that we're looking at from the mean variant. If we are able to continue on to that upside, then very likely we can actually touch down at the weekly resistance at about 17 cents right here, showing from our algo. Okay, so very interesting times here. I mean, we're not going to be looking at these targets at the top side just yet because it's not relevant at the current moment, but they are displayed for our convenience. Okay, so if we are going to determine that upside, then yeah, I can see the potentials there. Let's go ahead and take an inverse fib from the current day's high to the day's low, right? So I'm talking about the last candle printed, and let's see what we have here. So the first area that I was talking to you about 1587, that's rhyming with the mean, it's already very close to the 1624 at the 1.618. Very curious that price action could take us there. Okay, you guys. So remember what we looked at. Here. Okay, we are at this resistance right now, touching at the top of this thing, just waiting for the breakout. Okay, so if you are curious about the top side target, this is the price objective, okay? An objective. It's not saying that I'm going there or that the price action is going to get there. I am saying that per the playbook rules, this is the way it's traded, okay? A broadening descending wedge is usually, the target is actually 35 cents. So now if we're looking, I mean, 35 cents is quite the distance away, right? But even still, the 4.618 is suggesting 24.55, but we can take a larger fib to see if there's any rhyming within that 35 cents for the coming weeks, right? So let's see, we might actually have to do a larger time frame even from here, actually. So let's go ahead and see it if we can take it from that section there at 24.94 to the very low from the range and see what the 35 cent looks like. Go ahead and notice right up here, 34.15 coming up to 1.618. So 34.15 in retrospect, you're looking at, let's see, right about here, right? So you can see just how close the fibs are actually coming to our discretionary resistance, right? So if we are going to make that move, guys, don't expect it to happen really fast. It's definitely going to take some time, and it would be contingent upon the psychology, okay? As tomorrow, remember, we're about to face potential rate hike, okay? So the Fed will be speaking, giving us either a 25 or no rate hike or whatever they decide, right? So lots of things to think about there, since we do have the banking crisis right now, right, you guys? So let's go ahead and remind ourselves that we want to be able to pull the best type of strategy here, okay, guys? First of all, and most importantly, remember that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever, okay, you guys? I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. But yeah, and refer to the links in the description below if you would like to find the Twitter and or the ARCa Bulls trading community, okay, you guys? But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Guys, I'm sorry, I realized did I even touch with the RSIs? So the RSIs are definitely facing upside, okay? So this is why I'm giving you the upside bias, is because I do feel that all of these are suggesting upside, okay? So just in case I didn't touch on the RSIs, yes. My bias, my thesis is coming from all kinds of momentum perspectives, giving us that upside, okay? So now, with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, you guys.